So one of my coworkers from last year reached out to me today just randomly because they just started college and they're trying to get like tips and tricks, I guess. They were asking me like how to go about making friends, how to like pass your classes, things like that. And to be honest, for some of the stuff they were asking me about, I am not the person to ask. But when they told me they were having trouble making friends, I asked if they had a roommate, just because that's like the easiest method. That's like the first friend you have in college. They said they've been having issues with the roommate. Like the roommate's like, they go to parties all the time and they drink and they come home late every night. Not that any of that stuff makes you a bad person. It's just that that stuff probably doesn't make you the best roommate, especially for someone who doesn't do any of those things. But the whole situation just got me thinking of my own roommate experience in college, which wasn't the best. Now, for the first 2 years of college, I didn't have a roommate. I lived in a single dorm, which was honestly a pretty good experience. And I would have done that until the end of my days if the single dorms had air conditioning. They did not. I wanted to get into the dorms that had the air conditioning and non-public bathrooms. So I was forced to live with 3 other people, and luckily one of my lifelong friends went to the same school as me, so we ended up rooming together. Okay, no, that sounds misleading. We didn't room together. The way this dorm was laid out is it was like there was a shared living room and bathroom connected by a hallway, and in that hallway were 4 doors, each to our own separate rooms. So I knew one of my roommates, so I just had to figure out who the other 2 were gonna be. Unfortunately for me and my friend, we really couldn't find anyone to dorm with us. We kept asking people and they already had roommates. So we just waited until the clock winded down and we ended up with some random roommates. Now these randoms, these guys were insane. I actually made a video talking about these guys last year and telling this story that I'm about to tell, but the video was really bad. It was like the second video I made on this channel, the second cutcom I ever made. So I'm just gonna remaster that video for you right now. So both of the random roommates knew each other, so that was good, I guess, for them. They were both on the hockey team, and these guys were like, you know, pretty much what you'd expect when I say they were both on the hockey team. No disrespect to any hockey players out there, but these guys, you know, they fit the archetype. They like to party, you know, they like to drink, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just they were drunk like a lot. Roommate number 1, let's call him Mike, on the first day sat down with me and my friend and told us that one day he's gonna sleep with roommate number 2's sister. He gave us this information while he was drunk out of his mind on move-in day. Just for clarity's sake, let's lay it out right now. Roommate number 1 is Mike, roommate number 2 is Brian. For example, Mike wanted to sleep with Brian's sister. So at this time I was working at a movie theater and I would come home really late because I closed every night. On this particular day, I got home at like 11:30 maybe. Still in my uniform, still smelling like popcorn, still miserable. When I opened the front door, the whole living room was illuminated exclusively with candlelight, and both roommates number 1 and number 2, along with my friend, are playing a drinking game or something. And my college was a dry campus, but I didn't care. They could do whatever they want. I went in my room, I closed my door, and I just started playing video games. I promise I'm not scared of the hose. I was tired, dude. So I'm playing something for the next like hour and a half. Honestly, I was getting ready to go to bed. It was like 1:17 a.m. or something. I don't know why I remember that. I think I remember because I looked at the clock because I heard one of the girls laughing. Yeah, on top of my college being a dry campus, it was also one where we couldn't stay in the opposite sex's dorm after 1 a.m. Yeah, I went to a real party school, but I didn't care that the girls were still over after the curfew thing. I just didn't want to get in trouble for the alcohol, because for whatever reason, when anyone was walking through the common area outside of our whole like suite thing, you could smell anything that was going on in there. So I didn't want to get in trouble for the alcohol and the visitation violation. So I heard a knock at the door and I thought it was a little unusual because no one ever knocks on my door, usually just because I'm not there. But also it was like 1:30 in the morning, and it was my friend standing next to this girl who smells like alcohol. So my friend's like, I think I heard a knock at the door and it's probably the RA. If you don't know what an RA is, it's basically a student that's in charge of all the students on that floor or in that building. On my campus, if you got caught doing the things that you weren't supposed to be doing, like staying over at the opposite sex's dorm past 1 a.m. or drinking, it would be a pretty heavy fine. And whatever they were paying me at the movie theater was not going to be enough to cover it. But I thanked my friend for warning me, and I closed my door and I just continued playing whatever 13-year-old game I was playing. And not 3 minutes later, I get another knock on my door and I answer it, and it's the campus safety officer just fully decked out, informing me that I have to go into the living room and participate in whatever bust was going on. And I didn't even do anything. So I'm in the living room now with Mike, Brian, and my friend, and 3 girls I've never seen before in my life. Now, to all my roommates' credit, they were really trying to get me off the hook. They were like letting the campus safety officer know that I wasn't participating in whatever was going on. Even the girls were like, oh yeah, I didn't see him at all. I didn't even know he was here. So the campus safety officer probably thought I was a loser. I was really just trying to tell the campus safety officer that I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't do any of that stuff, because I don't, and I wasn't participating with the people that were. But he didn't care. I still had to stay there. That was the procedure. Mind you, all of the people that live in this dorm dorm that actually like live here are all of legal drinking age. So the campus safety officer asks us for our student IDs and we give it to him, and then he asks the girls for their IDs. Turns out they're not students, and that's another rule broken. We can't have any non-students here after curfew without getting like pre-approved by like the campus safety officer or whatever. So the campus safety officer asked the girls how old they are, and it sounds like they answered like they were generally like 18 to 21, and that was bad news because where I'm from, the legal drinking age is 21. So campus safety calls the police department, and again, especially when the police were involved, my roommates were like super adamant that they let everyone know that I wasn't involved. They didn't want me getting fined for whatever they were doing, and they really didn't want me to go to prison or go to jail or whatever for whatever they were doing. But again, it didn't matter. I still had to go downstairs like to the lobby area of the dorm with a police officer and my roommates and the 3 girls, and we all had to take a breathalyzer, and it was the first breathalyzer I've ever took in my life actually. So the cop was parked outside and we all had to walk outside individually and get our single breathalyzer with him separate from everyone else. I went first, and of course mine zeroed out, and the cops like making small talk with me and stuff. He was like doing that thing that cops do when they like put their hands on their vests, and he asked me like, they killing the party? This is probably the coolest interaction with a police officer I've ever had. So I'm in the lobby and I'm really talking to and meeting these girls for the first time. It was nothing weird, it was just like really like boring small talk. When the 3rd girl of the trio started talking to me, it just got weird. It seemed like the moment we started a conversation, she like had to lock in, and she also gave me one of the most firm handshakes of my life. She told me it was nice to meet me, like it was like a job interview, and then she was just like. So everyone's done with their breathalyzer, and the cops just going through the lobby asking us all our ages. Like I said, me and all my roommates were 21. The first girl was also 21. The second girl was 19, and then the cop asked the 3rd girl, the weird one, how old she is, and she just looked at the cop and gave a long awkward pause and said, "I'm 16." Dude, I looked at my friend that I already knew, and we both just jaws to the floor. Roommate number 1, Mike, he brought these girls here. This guy brought a 16-year-old into our dorm and gave her alcohol. I don't know if anything else happened, but it really didn't need to. No matter what happened, I was pretty much certain that Mike was gonna go to jail. And I know I was saying earlier that cop was like super cool and he was really chill, but like he like didn't care. I don't know if it was like a lot of paperwork or something that he didn't want to do, but he really didn't seem to care that she was 16, hanging out with a bunch of 21-year-olds and drinking. But no, there were no arrests being made, and we were actually just done with the process. We were told to go back up to our dorms so that the girls can get their like belongings and their sweaters and stuff. And this cop was so chill. Like, dude, we got to the dorms, and my friend that I already knew, this guy's like jacked, right? He goes to the gym every day. He's pretty strong. And during this whole thing, he was wearing a tank top, so he's like showing off the guns or whatever. And while we're on the way back up to the room, the cops like, word for word, "Dude, you're showing off the guns, let's arm wrestle." Like, this guy, like, you would think he would be more concerned about other things going on. So they did it. They arm wrestled this cop and my friend in front of me and in front of the girls, one of them being 16, of course. All due respect to my friend, he could definitely outlift me, but dude, the cop destroyed him. It was crazy, dude. He was putting like no effort in, and then last second just decided to lock in, and he put him through the table. Thank God I didn't have to pay any fines for the actions of my roommates. I think all 3 of them did, Mike, Brian, and my friend, but I'm pretty sure it was just the standard fine for when you get caught with alcohol, because this would not be the last time we were visited by campus safety, and they ended up paying that a few more times. But yeah, I was just a little surprised that Mike didn't see anything a little bit more severe. He never went in for questioning, never went to jail. He was just fined for alcohol by the school. I mean, I didn't want anything terrible to happen to bro, but dude, like 16 is insane. Apparently what had happened is the 21-year-old works with the other 2 girls, and she brought them both and told the 16-year-old to lie about her age. So if anything, you know, I think we gotta put her somewhere. I guess the lesson here is to choose your roommates wisely, or don't lie about your coworker's age. 16, man.